What's the point of living? Our reflections on death and impermanence.
Change, or impermanence, is the essential characteristic of all phenomenal existence. According to the ideas of impermanence, all is fleeting and nothing is real or permanent. This does not necessarily mean, however, that nothing matters. All physical and mental events eventually dissolve, and this is in flux with the idea of cyclic existence. Impermanence to a Buddhist is an inescapable reality that is simply a passing on to another life when we are reborn after death. According to Buddhists, there are 6 realms of sentient beings to which our consciousness can be reborn: gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings. Buddhists live every day like it's their last day, and when we die, only the Dharma is of benefit. In reference to the body, it is only a vessel in which our current life is bound. Our consciousness is not permanently attached to any one body and will be reborn in another vessel for eternity. If we believe that ourselves or our belongings are permanent, this will result in suffering. Throughout this video, we will discuss our personal interpretations of death and attachment. Furthermore, we will elaborate on how the ideas of impermanence have enlightened us to new ways of thinking about the way we live our lives. 1. Life is not permanent. 2. Acceptance of change in dealing with attachment. And 3. Non-existence in the change in ourselves.
I have always been scared of death. I have laid awake at night wondering, what happens when I am gone? Do I watch Earth from up above, or am I a spirit following around my surviving loved ones on their day-to-day lives? If I am in fact reincarnated, it can be weird to me that I did not remember my past life. How did I know if I had an old soul, or if I was in fact a new spirit? These are questions that I will never get concrete answers to, or at least while I am living in this lifetime. That really scares me. As I lay awake at night at 2 or 3 in the morning thinking, my heart starts to beat faster and faster. I can't fall asleep, so I just get up. Why am I sleeping when my life is not infinite? In our class text, Transforming Adversity into Joy and Courage, the subsection of Meditation on Death calmed my evident nerves. For starters, I need to think that everyone is in the same boat. I am going to die, just like Caroline and Connor are going to die, just like you, the person grading this presentation, will in fact die. Not to sound too pessimistic or anything, of course. Dying is just as much a part of life as birth. It is cyclic. We cannot prevent aging or dying. It is certain, and our lifespan gets shorter as the days go by. Prior to this class, I was thinking about death in the wrong way. Because death is certain, I shouldn't get lost in purposeless activities. I shouldn't spend my time worrying about what will happen when I die. I should rather try to refine my good qualities and accumulate merit, as the Buddhists would like to say. I should be constantly preparing for the future, whether that be the next day or the next lifetime. I should be working towards liberation and enlightenment. I can do this by transforming my mind and heart, by focusing on the Dharma. The idea of impermanence can only make me value my precious human life more.
Death was always something very serious and relevant in my life. Having had multiple family members die in recent years has made the idea of death a clear and present idea in my mind. I never really feared death, but rather I think how serious and unavoidable it is. I understand that there is no rhyme or reason when it happens. It could simply be your luck of the draw. At first I was sad at the thought of death, but now I can only accept it and move on. Death is a part of life, and sometimes you just need to face it when it comes your way. I've learned from Buddhism that we need to focus on the good stuff while you have it, but do not hold on to anything because nothing is permanent. I can cherish the good moments I had with my loved ones, but knowing that life is not permanent and I must let go helps to move on. Rather than focusing on the idea that nothing I have is real, I can focus on letting go and understand that both the good and the bad is impermanent. When I am experiencing bad moments, they are easier to let go because none of it lasts. Our loved ones are not fully gone knowing that their consciousness lives on in another body. It is possible to one day be reacquainted with them in another form from the realm of sentient beings. As said from Thich Nhat Hanh, it is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not.
For as long as I can remember, I've felt like I wasn't afraid of death, or at least I had myself convinced this was the case. Growing up without religion has brought me to sort of see death in a very clinical, matter-of-fact way. I was a realist. Death to me was just science and eventual decay. Although I don't really believe we go somewhere else after death, like a heaven or a hell, I have contemplated the possible existence of a soul, whether this is simply an energy or something like a ghost of our living selves. I am also very grounded in the fact that our being, our conscious, or our soul is unique and tangible to us, which contrasts with the Buddhist beliefs that we do not exist and our existence is not permanent. I've always been obsessed with the idea of finding myself, exactly who I am, and what my existence means. However, Buddhist beliefs don't really align with this. Thanks to impermanence, everything is possible. Buddhists liken impermanence to a river. Just as the river of yesterday is not the same river of today, I, am not the same person I was a year ago, a day ago, a moment ago. Although the moments of our life appear to join together and give the impression of one continuous flow, we are in fact living moment by moment. As humans, we live and die by the moment. The person I was a moment ago can be completely changed in the next, and this to me is empowering. It is because of this constant change that we have the ability to live our lives in any way we want. Rather than interpreting this change and non-existence as daunting, it is healing to let go of my notions that I must stick to my personality, my egos, my or others' perceptions of what make me who I am, my likes, dislikes, memories. Instead, I have the ability to change and experience all the more from life without the limitations of permanent egos and permanent belongings such as wealth. Another way of thinking about it is if my current self does not disappear, I cannot give way to the me of the following moment, the me which may accomplish more, travel more, and evolve more. This change is empowering.
This is verse 4 of the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas. Loved ones who have long kept company will part. Wealth created with difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas.
So, why do we live?
Just because nothing is permanent does not mean the moments we live are not meaningful in this lifetime or in the next lifetime.
We believe that this verse encompasses all the points that we've discussed in the video. To Alexa's point, it is clear that death is certain as the guest will leave the guest house of the body when we die. Thus, there is no point of overthinking the permanent aspects of our lives and spending all this time worrying. She realized she should be investing time elsewhere. By performing acts of kindness as simple as opening the door for a stranger and just continuing to meditate on death, she will prepare for her next lifetime. Death is always sudden. Many young people will just keep thinking that they are so far from death for many, many years, until in fact they are on their deathbed. By postponing the Dharma teachings, she will never be ready for death. However, by meditating on death now and focusing on the Dharma, she will be more ready at the time of her death for her next lifetime. The Dharma acts as a guide.
To Connor's point, loved ones will come and go. They will be born and they will die. And in realizing that nothing is permanent, we can let go of these attachments and mitigate suffering, while also cherishing the moments that we do have with our loved ones. It is comforting to realize that their consciousness does live on, and is not constricted to this one life. They will continue to live infinitely through many different forms. The freedom to let go allows us to live more in the moment and appreciate the good and the bad events that are only fleeting in the eyes of the Buddhist.
To Caroline's point, wealth, belongings, and hobbies will be left behind. Thus, we should let go of the notion that these things define us in our life so that we are better able to appreciate the changes in ourselves and experiences all life has to offer. If nothing changed, nothing would grow. Just as the cells in our body die and produce more cells moment by moment, our own selves are living and dying for the moment. As such, we should not be constrained by our ages and our possessions. So, why do you live?